All right, so Terry, why are you opposed to it?
Well, listen, no one supports women joining the military more than me. In fact, I wouldn't be here today if my grandmother didn't sign up for the military and meet my grandfather during World War II. But the reality is that women should not be coerced into military service. Why are we even talking about this? Well, we're talking about drafting women and coercing them into military service because our government has failed us. They've failed to inspire a generation of young people to join the military. They've failed to prepare them. Only 30% of our youth today would even pass the physical requirements to join the military. And this is all just more and more indoctrination of our youth. People aren't inspired to join the military because they've been taught that America is an evil nation founded on oppression. That we need to get back to inspiring the next generation to want to serve our nation, and we should let women volunteer, but they should not be coerced.
Melissa, your response.
Well, I think you said it all at the outset, Dan, of why we need to do this. Only 1% of our country is still raising their hand and saying, send me. I'm an Iraq War veteran myself. I was commissioned by my father. My grandfather was killed in action in World War II. And so no one understands that service that lives through the bloodstream more than I do. And when we're looking at these recruiting rates and retention rates that we have, yes, after 20 years of the global war on terror, we now have a question within our country of what does parity within citizenship mean? And for our women to be able to continue to serve as I have served, that means that we want to make sure that women have the same opportunities that men do. And service does not necessarily have to look like a military draft. I want to make sure that we're not conflating the selective service registry with a draft. As you said, in 1973, when we went to an all-volunteer force, that was when we eliminated the draft. And a state of a national emergency could mean many things. In World War II, we were looking to draft nurses. And there was such a resurgence of women who volunteered to be nurses that it eliminated the need for a draft during World War II for said nurses. And so that could be something, again, that would come forward in any application of selective service should it move forward in this country. But I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, and we're not being torn away from our families. We're showing that women are courageous and are able to do all the things that our men are able to do. And so just registering between your 18th and 26th birthday just seems to make sense. It also seems to make sense in terms of automating that enrollment because currently only 84% do enroll of the men who are required. And that can come with some stiff penalties if you don't do it. So it just makes logical sense for our current status of forces.
Terry, it does seem hard to justify in the environment we now live in to say we're going to treat women differently because they're mothers or daughters or whatever the sort of the sexist phrase would be, no?
Listen, I understand that it's popular today to denigrate mothers and act like it's not a special thing. I think it is special. But I also understand that this is all part of the gender insanity that this nation is suffering under. This is the same fight. This is why we have men and women's sports. We just saw in the Olympics males beating up women in the boxing arena.
Come on, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Because I can take the
women
position.
serve in all areas of combat.
Dan, can I just say,
women serve.
Hold on one sec. Can I just say, Dan, men and women have obvious and general physical differences between them. We can't pretend they don't, okay? And so that's why we should not be coercing women who on average are smaller, who on average don't have the same muscle mass or bone density. They should not be coerced into service. They should be allowed to volunteer and to serve their country if they desire. But there are plenty of ways to serve our nation. But I'm with Senator Rand Paul in that this whole movement, it's not being called to by the American people. There's not some popular movement to draft women. And if there is, then Kamala Harris and her campaign should run on it. But they aren't because it's greatly unpopular, especially with suburban women.
Melissa, go ahead.
I would say that women have been serving in the quote-unquote front lines since the beginning, since the Revolutionary War. Whether you call it under combat in the way in which it's been, if I may say, bastardized in recent discussion of calling it combat, but women have fought and died for our country since its founding. And it's something that it should be recognized as a formal way. But again, you're conflating the draft with the selective service. Selective service can be used for many different things in terms of a national emergency. I want to separate that point, and then also I would like to finish my point in saying that there are women like me every day who are mothers and daughters who have our families and are still a part of that rich tradition of being able to serve in the profession of arms.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.